Good morning, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Morning Window King. To start off, let's offer a greeting about our heavenly parents and true parents. 존진 참부님께 경배, 바로. And now we'll read Family Pledge number 6. 6. 천일국주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참부모님의 내신 가정으로서 전우를 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. Our family, the owner of Chonoguk, pledges to become a family that moves heavenly fortune by embodying the heavenly parent and true parents, and to perfect the family that conveys heaven's blessings to our community by centering on true love. And to open us up in prayer, I'd like to ask, Noriko Tenepre, could you open us up in prayer?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Do my prayer. Yeah, Heavenly Parents, good parents. Good morning, everyone. Also, good morning, Heavenly Parent, to the parents. Thank you for giving us this brand new morning. Right now, here in New Jersey, we get some environmental circumstances where now air is it's not good quality now. It's even a public school is closed because of this situation. But we have to appreciate this environment. God's giving us this earth. We have to always reminding that we have to take care of this environment, this our nature, even tree, wind, always providing the good air for us. Because of this, we are surviving here on the earth because with God's creation. We have to need to thank you, God, every parent to the parent. We are survived here, also able to listen all the time through Mother's Word right now. Also, thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone we connect each other, helping each other, support each other, loving each other. Every parent to the parents. We are now starting to fund here again. We are now receiving the true mother's memoir, the story of it's most difficult time during the mother's life. That's the attacking in the Konya Peninsula. Every parent, we are it's receiving the new world and receiving new days. We just represented all of us here is gathering here. Just I report in my name, Noriko Tanapret and the Verse family, Arjun.
Aju. Thank you, Noriko-san. All right, so we're going to go into our breakouts now. So take a moment to think about what you are grateful for today. What are you grateful for this morning? Share with whoever you're paired up with, and we'll be back to hear sharing. We'll see you all soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you all had a wonderful sharing in your breakout. I'd like to first call on the Roswitha, Thomas Roswitha. I'm sorry, Johansson, Thomas Johansson and Roswitha Johansson to share with us their gratitude this morning, all the way from Norway.
Okay, good morning.
Good
Thank
morning.
you for being together with you, Resfred. My gratitude today was for our Heavenly Parent who is working incredibly throughout generations in all our families. Because when I hear the Godables, I'm thinking incredible how God prepared her ancestors. And looking at my own family, I was also looking back to my grandparents more, I don't know. So, and I could see traces of God's work, how he prepared that I was able to accept our true parents. Of course, I accepted them because that's my own responsibility, but God prepared also my ancestors to find the Messiah. And so I'm deeply grateful for that. And I really pray that we can work and make True Mother's dream and vision what she's already seeing come true. So that's for me today. Thank you. And here's my oldest son.
And for me, speaking on topic of ancestors, I'm having a lot of things going on right now, and I feel a lot of help from our absolute good ancestors. They help me a lot, especially reminding me of things that I need to do and bring and such. I truly feel their help, so I'm very grateful to our absolute good ancestors. Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. It's good to see you all the way from Norway. That's in case you know, Alex's older brother, Yana's husband, right? Yana's husband's older brother. All right, with that, we're going to go straight into our morning Hundoke. And as you know, we are on Mother's Memoir, still on chapter 2. I came to this world as the only begotten daughter. So let's prepare our hearts and mind to receive from our true mother.
Welcome to Mother of Peace, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. A memoir by Hak Jahan Moon, a production of the Washington Times Global Media Group, narrated by Alison Hiroto. On Jeju, as she had everywhere, my mother led me on the path of sainthood for the Lord, with no thought of worldly matters, and this fit my emerging personality very well. I read biographies of holy women and devoted myself to the ideal of complete purity in preparation to receive my calling as the daughter of God. Once settled in Sugwipo, I enrolled in Shinhyo Elementary School as a 5th grader. At the age of 11, while my classmates were running around and playing, I lived a rigorous and strict life of faith. With my grandmother and mother, I devoted myself to prayer, study, and worship. My mother soaked flattened barley in water and added it to radish kimchi for her raw food diet, while I ate millet porridge. Even though weak due to nutritional privation, when she saw farmers working the barley fields, my mother could not resist helping with the plowing. If she saw someone having difficulty carrying a load, she would volunteer to carry it for them. Without her saying a word, people were filled with admiration. "I've never met such a thoughtful person," one village woman would say to another, who would respond, "That's what I'm saying. I heard she's a regular churchgoer, but still, she is so different from the others." My mother lived the exemplary life of an authentically religious person, always putting her faith into practice by helping others. She studied the Bible and shared with me the teachings of the Holy Lord Church and the Inside the Womb Church, that Jesus would return as a man in the flesh, just as he had come 2,000 years ago, that he would find his holy bride and hold the marriage supper of the Lamb, as the Bible prophesies, and that all this would take place in Korea. From her, I learned the meaning of Jesus' second advent and could imagine it and taste and touch it. And from my mother, I learned the meaning of true discipleship. My uncle, who had rescued us at the outbreak of the Korean War, married at the end of that war, and Grandmother Jo went to live with him and his new bride in Seoul. Within a few months, she was longing to see her daughter and granddaughter, and she came to visit us on Jeju Island. While she was with us, my uncle was posted to the city of Chuncheong, some 50 miles northeast of Seoul. He sent us an abrupt but clear message. Please wrap up your life on Jeju and move to Chuncheon. Grandmother Jo urged us to comply, saying softly, with the pleading eyes of a loving matriarch, "My only pleasure in life is to have Hakja nearby and take care of her every day." That was it. In February 1955, we all three departed Jeju, bound for Chuncheon. My mother rented a small room for us in the Yaksadong neighborhood, and my grandmother lived with my uncle's family nearby. I enrolled in Bongui Elementary School and soon entered the 6th grade. On the school grounds stood a big sycamore tree, its circumference greater than I could reach around. I read books under its abundant shade in the hot weather. There was a coal briquette factory next to the school, and my shoes would be covered with black soot when I walked past. All this springs out fresh in my memory. In the next year, 1956, I graduated from elementary school. I was 13 and received my graduation certificate after having attended 4 different schools. Though I had been a student at Bongui but 1 year, I was honored at the graduation ceremony with an award for doing well in my studies. God finally responded to my mother's ceaseless prayers and pleadings. His care for her once again was extended through Jong Suk-chun, our friend from the Holy Lord Church. Mr. Jong remembered the last words of his late mother, the Holy Lord Church founder, Reverend Kim Song-do. If someone fails to accomplish what God has entrusted him to do, it must be accomplished through someone else. The group to which the Lord is coming will be accused and slandered as a sex cult. Its members will be persecuted and imprisoned. If you hear of such a church, know that it may be the true church, and that you should personally investigate it and decide for yourself. So Mr. Jung diligently traveled the country to participate in revival meetings. He did not find what he was looking for until May 1955, when he read in the Dong-a Ilbo, a Seoul newspaper, about an incident at Ewa Women's University. 5 Ewa professors had been fired from the faculty for joining a group called the Unification Church, led by a man they called Teacher Moon, and 14 students had been expelled from the same school for the same reason. Sensing the spirit of his prophetic mother, Mr. Jong sent a letter with a newspaper clipping to his older sister in Busan. His sister took a look at the clipping and, without thinking twice, booked passage to Seoul with her daughter. They arrived and found their way to the Jongchung-dong headquarters of the Unification Church, but were unable to meet its leader at that time. The members told her the location of the Unification Church in Busan, and she returned home. From there, she informed her younger brother what had happened, and that there was another Unification Church branch in Daegu. Jong Suk-chun visited the church in Daegu, listened to Divine Principle lectures, accepted its teachings, and joined. Then, out of the blue, 10 days later, the local group was sent reeling. On July 4th, Teacher Moon and several of his church members were incarcerated at Sodaemun prison in Seoul. Mr. Jong traveled to Seoul to visit Teacher Moon in prison. In that visit, he received inspiration and encouragement. Mr. Jong knew that he had found the one whom Jesus had sent. Some 3 months later, on October 4th, Teacher Moon was acquitted of all the charges for which he had been imprisoned. At that point, Mr. Jong secured his family's support in Daegu and moved to Seoul to devote himself full-time to God's will. After his release from Sodaemun, Teacher Moon visited Daegu. At that time, I was 12 years old, living with my family in Chuncheon, several hours north of Daegu. One morning, my mother told me that she had a dream of cuddling a white dragon in her arms. She did not know what the white dragon symbolized, nor what it meant to cradle it in her arms, but she said that something earth-shaking was about to transpire. That very day, she received a letter from Mr. Jong about his meeting the Divine Principle movement and meeting Teacher Moon in prison, and who Teacher Moon is, and that Teacher Moon was in Daegu. My mother left for Daegu immediately, only to find that Teacher Moon had returned to Seoul. My mother felt deep regret, and while staying overnight in Daegu, she had another dream. In it, she saw a pair of golden dragons prostrating themselves in the direction of Seoul. With this vision carved into her heart, she took the train to Seoul the next morning and proceeded to the Unification Movement's newly purchased headquarters church in Chongpa-dong. It was early in December 1955. There, she met the teacher of the Unification Church for the first time. The moment she greeted him, she realized that the white dragon in her dream represented none other than him, and that he was the one she had been seeking. She was deeply moved to meet, in her lifetime on earth, the Lord at the Second Advent, for whom she had suffered and sacrificed for 3 decades. She stayed at Chongpa-dong to study the principle and heard teachings that put together what she had learned in the Holy Lord Church and inside the Womb Church. With each lecture, her eyes were opened and her internal inspiration was confirmed. At times, she pondered the meaning of her dream of the pair of golden dragons. Not coming up with anything, she put that out of her mind. Despite my mother's admiration of him, and in contrast to his affectionate openness with everyone else, Teacher Moon related to my mother in a formal and reserved fashion. As a result, she felt empty and a little bit isolated, with a feeling of lack of love lodging in her heart. She invested in prayer silently, without rest, erasing from her soul all the concepts and expectations she may have had about whom she was going to meet. Then one Sunday, Teacher Moon preached a sermon about the heart of Jesus. He said, "The people of Israel did not welcome Jesus, who came as their true Father. They allowed him to die on the cross," and asked the congregation, "Do you know how great was the sin they committed?" Upon hearing this, my mother withdrew into a corner of the church. There she wept, crying her heart out for the remainder of the service. Teacher Moon viewed this, and after the service, he called to my mother and consoled her, saying, "A person anointed by God must pass the test of Satan as well as that of heaven." At that, like the snow melting in springtime, all sorrow disappeared from my mother's heart. Her faith in God became stronger than it ever was. Soon thereafter, she returned to Chuncheon to commence pioneer work for the Unification Church.
Thank you for listening to Godable. Visit motherofpeacebook.com to purchase the complete audiobook. Godable is made possible by listeners like you. To donate, visit godable.org. Thank you.
All right, so that was today's reading. Wow. Yep, this is The Search for True Father by Humonim. I'd like to now call on our assistant pastor, Etushi Takino, to share with us a reflection.
Good morning. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Yeah, so today I like to share you the devotional life of Demoni. As we read the True Mother's memoir, the grandmother John Won Nim and the Demonim, they both were devout Christian life. And Demonim received a revelation from heaven when she was 21 years old in 1934. She made commitment. Whether God give her a son or a daughter, she will consider the child to be as great as the universe and will raise the child with care as heaven's prince or princesses. She will willingly dedicate her life for God's will. Then, after she received this revelation and the commitment, a few days later, she was married to Han Song-un, True Mother's father. And she never forget this God-given revelation the rest of her life. Mother Mary also received the revelation before Jesus was born, and she made a commitment to heaven. But only different, True Mother was only the child in their couple. In 1945, the True Mother's father, Han Song-un, requested to move to South Korea because of the dangerous situation in North Korea. However, Demonim decided to stay in North Korea because Demonim and many other Christians received the revelation Jesus was going to appear in North Korea. Pyongyang was called the Jerusalem of the East at that time. So she chose life taking care of daughter without husband. So they started to separate life with husband. And she lived the exemplary life of an authentically religious person, always putting her faith into practice by helping others. So she studied the Bible and shared with True Mother the teaching of the church, Holy Road Church and the Inside the Womb Church. And this is very interesting. They already knew Jesus would return as a man in the flesh, and just as he had come 2,000 years ago, that he would find his holy bride and hold the marriage supper of the Lamb in Korea before they met True Father. They already knew, Jesus must be appear in flesh in Korea, and they should have a marriage, the marriage supper of the Lamb, holy marriage in Korea. Then later on, the demonim met true father, but the true father couldn't recognize demonim, and she felt empty. She said last part. She said she felt empty, a little bit isolated, with a feeling of lack of love. But she invested in prayer silently, without rest, erasing from her soul all the concept and the expectation she may have had about whom she was going to meet. And later, true father recognized her and called her. And the true father told her, a person anointed by God must pass the test of Satan as well as that of heaven. So these are content actually struck me. That no matter that they receive the love or not, but important is my faith, my attitude. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor Aquino. Now's our time to share a reflection. So let's take the next few minutes to digest everything that we heard from today's morning Hundoke, share with whoever you paired up with, and we'll be back to hear one or two reflections. See you all soon. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful sharing your breakout. Had a great time with Pastor Barbara and on Charlotte. I'd like to first call on Pastor Barbara to unmute and share with us her reflection from today's morning Hanukkah.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you. Yeah, this morning we're just sharing, I just so moved by, Mother's unchanging heart and of course our community is wondering what our next step is. And I just feel like if we really look at how true mother's mother just unflinchingly, unchangingly, determinedly found the Messiah, and she just kept making more and more devotion until she found him. And that is just so so amazing. So we really know that first we just have to take the step of faith, and then God is going to make a way. So I feel like God is also like comforting me and our community with these, our movement with mother's words about her own mother. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Barbara. And then next, I'd like to call on Charlotte Kiluba.
Good morning, family.
Good morning.
I pray you should share because your sharing was so powerful. Yeah, my sharing today, I was reflecting on the faith, strong faith of true mother's grandmother and the mother. I think if true mother is who she is today, it's because of their faith. They really put deep root that true mother can be who she is today. And based on that, that's who we are today, because they really sacrificed themselves. And it was really crazy faith, because they believed to what they couldn't see. That's the faith of, I don't know how to explain that. It was just crazy. I was telling Pastor Barbara and Resfred to remind them that they even made the clothes of somebody they don't know the size. Just craziness of faith. So I'm so grateful to them for that foundation, strong roots they made. So true mother can stand up today as the only begotten daughter of God, and we can have that benefit of it today. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Aunt Charlotte. Yes, Demonim is an example of absolute devotion and absolute faith. This true devotion. Yeah. Okay, so now on to our announcements. We have Anshil in 2 days. So if anyone would like to offer a musical offering or a testimony, feel free to reach out to Yasutaka. Yasutaka will put his link in the chat. And of course, we have some announcements in the chat as well. So feel free to check that out. And with that, we're actually going to go into our closing prayer. Actually, before that, President Naokimi will be coming back to New Jersey, or not President, Pastor Naokimi will be coming back to New Jersey this Sunday. He's coming back actually tomorrow. So this Sunday, he'll share a very brief message, very quick update on what's been going on in Vegas, kind of his experience. Yes, so you can look forward to that. But to close out in prayer, can I ask Pastor Mara, can I ask you to pray? Mara Allaire? You muted yourself. There you
Sorry. Okay. Let us pray. Our most precious and beloved Heavenly Parents and precious true parents, thank you so much for allowing us to come together as your sons and daughters and as brothers and sisters together in this morning Hundoke to read Mother's memoir and try to understand more deeply about her heart and her wishes. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. We pray that we could inherit her heart and her devotion, and that we can really put it into practice every day in our lives. We just want to offer everything to you in deepest gratitude in the names of all of our brothers and sisters here, and I report this in the name of Eric Marlier, a blessing to your family. Aju.
Aju. Thank you, Pastor Mara.
Thank you.
All right, so that about wraps up today's morning Hundoke. Yes, we're reading Mother of Peace. Today is day six, and most of you know what happened today. The animals were created, and so were we. So take a moment to appreciate your humans, your fellow creatures around the world, and yourself. With that, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everyone. See you all.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Barbara.